make it fast. Strike. Move. Hi tribe, and welcome to this new video in which I will continue in the same way, sharing with you some human basic anatomy knowledge combined with the blade combat. And in today's video I will talk about axillary artery. I want to underline again that when I'm talking about targeting or aiming blood vessels, important blood vessels, I am talking about arteries. Of course there are the arteries, there are the veins, and there are also the capillaries. But I'm talking specifically about arteries because in the arteries the blood is circulating with high pressure. This means that when I'm severing an artery very fast, the target will lose the blood, the amount of blood that it will lead to be unconscious, and of course in 3-4 minutes, depending on the body constitution and other many factors that can influence this, it will lose the life. So very important from the beginning to understand that in the blade combat mentality we need to have some basic human body anatomy, so we know where to strike and we know if we strike a particular area what is happening with the target's body. I want to start by underlining that I'm promoting the idea of a protector, an individual that uses his skills to protect his own life, his family, and the ones around him. So I want from the beginning also the new people that they are coming to my channel to understand that the techniques and knowledge that I am sharing here must be used in that particular situations in which it's requiring use of deadly force. And all the time I give the same example because you can make a better idea and understanding what that particular situations are. A few years ago in Paris, a terrorist was entering with a blade, with a knife in a church and stabbed multiple civilians and killed them. So that is a particular situation in which I can deploy my weapon if I have the skills and the knowledge and try to eliminate and incapacitate the target so I can save my own life, my family, and the ones around me. So another thing that you must understand is that what I'm doing here, the drills that I'm showing you, are very simple to be made because I'm in a relaxed environment. In reality, it will be something else. This is a fixed target. In reality, my target will have unpredictable movements. It will oppose resistance. Maybe there are multiple aggressors. So this is basically the first step of fundamental techniques. So you can program your brain to have a response for that situations, but after this you must pass to scenarios and trainings in which you implement stress and pressure factors. So today we are talking about the axillary artery. I was drawing also for you a diagram and I will explain it to you. Basically, the axillary artery is a very important blood vessel, it's very close to the heart and the blood is circulated with a lot of high pressure. So the good part of targeting this artery is that is not protected by different kind of muscle. If you are remembering the carotid artery, for example, we are having the sternocleidomastoid muscle that is protecting these arteries. So it's more hard from a lateral slash to sever that carotid artery. This is the reason why, if you remember from my past video, we are thrusting with the blade inside the trachea, the neck, then with a blade with a sharp edge directed towards the blood vessel, we are making a ripping movement in which we are severing that artery, and of course also the jugular vein. Here also is not only the axillary artery, it's also the axillary vein. So I was drawing to you the diagram. I have two diagrams to make a better idea about it. you have here the body, this is the arm with the bone, and here is the rib cage with the ribs, and here what you have with the red, it's the axillary artery. Basically it's showing you here from which point, from this point to this point. So from here to here is the axillary artery. After here down is coming the branchial artery. So here to target the axillary artery, we must stab with the blade inside the armpit, and then of course ripping towards you. I will show you, I have already the animal tissue, put it on my dummy, and we'll also practice this. I will show you the movement, and you will see also the damage that is created. But after this area of the where is the axillary artery, where is the armpit, then is coming down the branchial artery. Yeah, the main idea that I want you to understand that from a perspective, from a trauma medical perspective, this is a very, very dangerous area. When you cut it, when you rip this axillary artery, it's very hard, you cannot put a tourniquet there. So if you have a cut to the branchial artery, okay, of course, high and tight or 3 inches above the wound, you come with a tourniquet and you try to stop that massive bleeding. But in the axillary artery, in this zone, you cannot put a tourniquet. So the only way to stop the bleeding, and this is also by the reverse, not by using, I can use this technique and eliminate or incapacitate the target, but we'll discuss about this immediately. But I can be the one injured, or the ones around me can have this type of injury. So what I can do is making a wound packing using a gauze or hemostatic gauze, or using, if I don't have other thing, a shirt, even if you are thinking that it's not sterile, but it does in that moment is not counting anymore, because the most important is saving the life, stopping the massive bleeding. So I can pack the wound. I have some videos in which I am showing you how to make that. I am packing the wound and maintain direct pressure until professional medical care operators are coming there and they are taking the victim, or they are continuing to ensure medical care to the victim. So very important to understand that it's very vulnerable spot. Exactly how I was telling you to the subclavian artery, if you are lacerating, severing that artery that is behind the clavicle, it's very hard to stop the bleeding there, because the artery is coming between the clavicle and the first rib, and it's coming like a sandwich, and to put pressure to squeeze that blood vessel is more hard. So these are very, very sensitive areas. The same if we are attacking, if we are targeting the femoral artery on the left leg and right leg, but in the femoral triangle, then so at the groin level, if we are lacerating there, we cannot come to stop the bleeding with a tourniquet. We must make the same wound packing or in direct pressure or direct pressure. Yeah, so these are junctional zones where they are not going to put a tourniquet. The same the neck, yeah, the subclavian artery and so on. Axillary artery, the same, very important target. But I want to underline that the arteries, the blood vessels, all the blood vessels, arteries and veins, capillaries are not so important, we don't discuss here. They are not shock zones. So if I'm severing that carotid artery, if I am severing a femoral artery, if I am severing an axillary artery or a branchial artery or subclavian artery, is not creating shock, so that my aggressor, my target, will not stop in that moment from his action. Okay, it's existing also the probability, how I say all the time to you, maybe it's aware of what is happening and it's scared and is stopping there, putting his hands where it has the bleeding. But it's not a guarantee. He can be under the influence of different kind of substances. He can be only full of adrenaline and not stopping, continuing to attack you with a blade, or I don't know what kind of scenario you want to be in. So it's very important to understand that it's not a shock zone, and if we want to transform it in a shock zone, to create a shock to my target, we must first strike aim to a shock zone, like the trachea, like the eye, like the kidneys, like the heart. So I was telling you also in my other episodes, first we go to a shock zone, that basically if you have a blade in your eye, you cannot continue. You'll stop in that moment from your action, from a limited amount of time, of course, or in the trachea, stabbing with a blade, or in the heart, or kidneys, where there are more than 2-3 million nerves. So there are different kind of places that they are creating shock, but the blood vessels, again, I repeat, are not one of them. So I have here again my dummy. I was preparing, again, I was taking some animal tissue. It's already arranged on my dummy, on my training dummy. I have again a gross piece of meat. It's very big, with skin, with fat, with muscle, and I was attaching it, imitating the axillary part, the armpit, and of course I have also a jacket. It's a leather jacket that I put it on it to see what is the difference when I'm making the same movement of stabbing and ripping, but we have also a leather jacket on it. Of course that in reality here we don't have this tissue, we don't have this gross skin like the pig skin, we don't have this a lot of amount of fat and a lot of amount of muscle. Is like this, yeah. Here you can access the axillary artery very easy by stabbing with the knife inside, ripping towards you with the blade, so you sever very easy. But here it's a modify, because I want to see how deep it's entering from this movement, and also I don't want to destroy my training dummy. So the idea is very simple. When we are performing, I will perform again with my kitchen knife. I have here the kitchen knife that I was using also last time. I remind you that I was going in the supermarket and buy a normal kitchen knife that has the blade curve, and here is the sharp edge on the interior. Again, I remind you that not all the time when you're traveling in different kind of location you can carry your own blade, but you can go to different kind of places like a supermarket and find kitchen knives that are creating a lot of damage. I was testing and showing you, and you know how much damage a knife like this it lose. Normally there are two types in which I can make this kind of technique. One kind of technique is stabbing, entering. Okay, please make exception of how the mannequin is looking. I was already making like this to understand how it's coming the arm. Of course that in reality my aggressor will not stay with the arms like this, will oppose resistance, will fight and so on. So to find the right place, it must be when the hands are in an angle that is permitting me to enter with this blade inside. And there are two ways to make this technique, but I will show you another one. Basically I start with the first one, that is entering with the blade in a normal position. I have the sharp edge towards me directed, so it's basically up. When I take the blade, it can be like in this position, like with blade up. But if I'm making this movement and I want to drag towards me, means that my aggressor must be a very tall one. Otherwise, if it's more small, I cannot enter with the blade from this position. So what I'm doing is I'm deploying the knife, but I'm changing my grip with the blade in a reverse mode and with the sharp edge towards me. So what I'm doing is coming with my hand from down up, entering at the armpit section. I have also on my diagram showing you an example of the drawing, entering under in the armpit, stabbing inside, and after this I'm dragging with force towards me. So imagine that this blade is entering inside the armpit, and after the blade is inside, you are ripping with a sharp edge towards you in such a way that you sever that blood vessels. Of course, I can make the same technique in a normal grip with the sharp edge towards me. But why I'm not making this movement? I have a bad injury to my shoulder, and all the movements that I'm trying to make now from down to up to stab, it's giving me a lot of pain in my shoulder, and I want to recover from this injury. So basically I will show you very easy. I can do this movement from coming from down, like an uppercut, down up, entering with the blade in the armpit, and then towards me, severing that blood vessels. Or the ones that I'm showing you today, it's that I'm coming, I have in this position my blade with the sharp edge towards me, and I'm coming from down, I'm letting my body coming from down up, stabbing, entering in that armpit, and then towards me I am severing, I am lacerating. I am not discussing here how you are moving your body, how you arrive in that particular situation, because this is a long discussion and basically we can talk here hours, and in reality it will not happening how you are planning. Yeah, I am only showing you how is the movement that you must come from down to up and then ripping in such a way that you make a visualization exercise and you know how the blood vessels are coming inside, how this axillary artery is coming inside, and how you can sever it, how you can rip that blood vessels after you enter with the blade inside. How you arrive there, different kind of training, different kind of scenarios, and of course training on precision, training on fast deployment of the weapon, precision, fast striking, or working in scenarios with opponents that they are opposing resistance. Again, I want to underline that in my system I am not teaching fencing with a blade. I am teaching ambushing with a blade and counter ambushing with a blade. So it's something else. Here we can discuss a lot of things. Imagine that this hand can be catch, grip, and it can come from down up, or different kind of movements. Here I will make only a movement in which I am letting my body down, stabbing from down up, entering with my blade inside, and then towards me I am dragging that weapon. So I'm letting my body stabbing inside, then ripping towards me. So let's check now. So this was the blade that was passing, cutting the leather jacket, and of course cutting also inside, and this is the injury that was creating. Again, I remind you that in reality it will not be so much muscle tissue and fat and so on. It will be very easy to access it, but like an idea, look how much deep cut it was making. So I put my finger inside, so like this it was entering inside. Again, I am opening to see better. So this is a very, very deep injury. Look here. If I'm putting my blade, basically all the blade was penetrating inside. So very, very easy to access this kind of place. So again, the movement from this position, I am entering inside, lacerating towards me. If I want to make it now with a deployment, I was showing you in one of my episodes how also to create this sheath for the knife, because it's a kitchen knife and many they don't have this. I was attaching with a rope with a paracord, and then of course I'm putting it in the same position at my appendix position, so if I need to deploy it, I'm already with the blade out. So very easy to deploy. So if I want to make a movement, let's say I want to come in this kind of deployment, I can drag my shirt, making the same extraction technique, hitting, going in the lateral position, and then stabbing at the axillary artery. So I have one, and then entering inside, dragging my blade towards me. This striking to the face, of course, that it can be also to not be there, but I am making it in the idea that if I'm striking, I'm taking the side, it can go with the hands up, so it's remaining. If I'm with the hands here, it's more hard to access it. Even like this it can enter, but if it's with the hands up, it's more easier to access that place. So I have one entering inside and then ripping that inside. So again, if I'm taking it up, I have, look here, what kind of injury it's creating. So I'm here striking at the level of the face, then coming with the blade, entering in the armpit. Okay, again, I remind you, I'm not discussing now how you arrive there. I'm only showing you a principle that you can apply in your training, in your drills, and also having the knowledge how to rip, how to sever that artery. Yes. So basically, from here, I am entering from down up, and then with power and with the sharp blade towards me, I am severing that axillary artery. Now I want to show you something very, very hard to believe, but to understand that when you have a good blade, this is a kitchen knife, that in this moment I was penetrating inside this big portion of skin, hard skin, fat, muscle, and also ripping all this, but also the metal zipper from the jacket. So this metal zipper was also cut. Yeah, so very, very good blade. Okay, it's not continuously, it's from piece to piece, so basically it was opposing some resistance, but it was very sharp and cutting through it. The wound, it's incredible. Again, we have a big wound that this blade was creating, entering inside and ripping also. Again, all my finger, it's entering inside the blade, inside the tissue. Again, I remind you, here we don't have muscles. You enter in the armpit, and then with power, with the blade that is towards you, you severe, you cut towards you. I'm entering inside, cutting towards me, entering inside, towards me, entering inside, towards me, entering towards me. This is the advantage that can be used when you have a bigger target, because I can let my body down, and when I let my body down, also stabbing with the blade. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Look a little bit, guys, to see the damage that is creating with a simple kitchen knife. So all this deep tissue is severed and cut in multiple layers, depending on the step that I was making. So very, very easy, and very, imagine that where I'm talking about the armpit, severing that axillary artery, it will not be all this. So again, from here, like showing you how the blade is entering, I have the sharp edge towards me. So basically when I'm taking my knife from my sheath, it's in this position with the sharp edge towards me. But when I'm stabbing, I'm coming from down up, entering in this position with the blade, with the sharp blade towards me, and then of course I am yanking, I am ripping towards me, and then it's creating this. Yeah, so the blood vessels inside will be very easy severed. So again, guys, I underline to you that of course this is not reality. I am showing you from the perspective of human anatomy where are some important targets that you can aim with your blade, how you must do that movements, and how you can implement this movement in a drill. Drills have the role to program your brain to learn a technique and to have a response, a particular response in a particular situation. Other goals, increasing the speed, increasing the precision. But this only is the first step, and then you must pass, when you learn and you master this kind of knowledge, you must pass to different kind of techniques and trainings that are implementing stress and pressure factors, partners, scenarios that are opposing resistance, and so on. So again, this technique, very simple. I am deploying, I am having my blade. It's a kitchen knife to show to you, because many of you are asking me what is the best blade, what mark of blade to buy. I have so much blades, different kind of companies, different kind of, I don't know, combat knives, tactical knives, and so on. But I was showing you, and also in my past videos, with a kitchen knife, to tell you that you must understand the characteristics of a weapon, of a tool, and you can identify in tools that they are not created for combat, the same characteristics that they can create the same damages or maybe more damages than a blade, a weapon that it was designed for combat, and I was showing you in many of my preview videos. So I have my blade positioned at my appendix position like a normal blade, how I'm carrying my normal blade, and what I'm doing a normal deployment. I can do without a strike, of course. I am deploying my blade, entering inside, gripping towards me. When I make that, of course, when I find the right position and I find the right spot to hit, how I train that is something different. I must train to have precision. I must put this tennis ball, how I say to you, with a rope, moving, having moving targets, moving around and trying to hit it how much times I can, increasing my precision. I must make different kind of scenarios with a partner that it's opposing resistance. Of course, with training blades, it's logical to understand this. Many are asking me why you are training and making a lot of damages with the blade on a hard target. For example, when I'm training on wooden training dummies or training targets, because if you want to have also and to learn how to grip good your knife and to not be too much relaxed, if you are training only to not hit hard your partner or only in the air, then your grip will be relaxed, and when in reality you'll face hard tissues of the body like ribs, like bones, it's existing the probability that you lose the knife from your hand. So you must also combine and mix your training also on hard targets in such a way that one is to hit like this in the air and be very fast or in a dummy, and then one is to hit, for example, in a wooden target or more hard target in such a way that you learn to catch your knife very good, to not lose it. In this particular movement, again, the drill can be very simple. I am repeating it one more time. I have the blade in the appendix position. I have the same deployment, catching my shirt, and with the other hand going on my blade. Again, I'm not repeating in which situation, what scenario. This is the only a drill, and I show you the principle. I am catching, moving already my body in a more, letting my level more down and coming in a position in which I can come from down up, striking in at the level of the armpit, and then of course dragging towards me with the sharp edge, severing that arteries, that axillary artery. Of course, it's logical. If it's blocked, if it's like this with the hands, you cannot enter with a blade there, yeah? It must be a space. If it's in normal position like this, of course you can enter. If it's having the hands like in this position, if you are very fast, you can come with a blade in the same manner, entering there, dragging towards you. It's much harder, of course. This is a fixed target, it's not moving. In reality, when you will do a very fast movement and you want to hit, it's enough that is moving only a little bit back, and that strike, it will not be anymore there. This is the reason why we train a lot of drills that are based on simplicity and efficiency. You must be fast in deploying your blade, fast to strike, and precise in your strikings, and then of course to move. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy the content that I'm creating. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because this is a great support for me and is showing me that I can continue creating this kind of materials. And I want to remind you that I work to a book. It's called The Way of the Blade, and I have inside instruction, and basically it's all my combat mindset and tactics and strategies that I am using in tactical combat system, in the system that I am teaching, are all this information put it in this book. It will have like 300 pages, and not only this, but it will have a lot of diagrams and drawings that I make in such a way that they are coming like a support to the process of learning. Thank you very much, stay safe, and of course train smart.